This is the lecture on paying the price. My name is Dean Wesley Smith, and by and large, I think the best way to describe this one is a working writer's mindset. Working writer's mindset. That's sort of the focus here. This whole thing is understanding what the price that often writers pay, meaning what do you give up, what are the good stuff, what are the bad. I'm going to do my best, and I do mean that. And again, I am recording this at night, and there's Highway 101 about that way, so the rumbling is sort of every so often. I apologize, but I can't do anything about Highway 101 on the Oregon coast. But back up here a second. I'm going to keep this positive as best I can. I will do my darndest to talk about ways that are positive around some of these things and through them, and things that you can do and ways you can think about it. Again, this is a working writer's mindset, and the operative word is working, a working writer's mindset. So I will do my best to stay positive. But, and you knew there was a but coming, some of this will be hard to hear at times for some people. There is zero issue about that. I want to tell a story that I've told in one or two other places, but it fits right here to help you understand a little bit of what I'm talking about. Back in my, seems like a previous lifetime now, back when I was young, I was a golf professional. I was taught how to play by first my father, sort of, taught myself. My father was a golf pro. But then when I went and became a pro, I got lucky and ended up working under one of the greats of the game, a guy by the name of Zell Eaton, who had been Ben Hogan's amateur partner. This man knew more about golf than I could ever imagine, and why he thought this young, 22-year-old kid from Idaho had any hope at all. But he saw something in me, and he worked with me on my attitude and on playing the game and everything, and I became a fine player back in the early 70s. This was back before tour schools and anything else, and I chased the tour a little bit. I was what was called a trunk slammer, and meaning I qualified on Monday, but if I didn't qualify, you would throw your clubs in your trunk and drive on. I was one of those. I worked in Palm Springs as a head golf professional. Now I realize at the age of 22, I was a head golf professional of a major country club in Palm Springs. I was very successful at golf, unbelievably successful. I decided that I didn't want to move to the next level of golf, which I knew what it was. By that point I could see it. I didn't want to go there, and I really didn't like traveling that much. I mean, I like traveling, but not like that, not with that level of frustration. And the guys and the women and the men who are out on those tours, boy, I'll tell you, they have a life that is just brutal. So, and they're paying a heck of a price out there. And I didn't want to pay that price. But I didn't realize that that's what was going on at that point in time. So I went back to school, have a degree in architecture, 3 years of law school, became a fiction writer. And what I did want to pay the price for during the years, and what this lecture is about, was I did want to pay it for my fiction writing. Didn't want to pay it for law school, didn't want to pay it as an architect. I have a 5-year master's degree in architecture, did not want to pay it for that either. But I wanted to pay it for writing, and so I did. And, I made my living at this now for almost 3 decades, or going on 2.5 decades, making my living at it. And I'm quite successful. I've got 17 to 20 million of my books in print. I haven't counted them for 2-3 years, so I don't know. Last time I counted them, it was 17 million. And so I've been around a long time. And I'm a person who studies writing. Okay. Well, a whole bunch of years back, now it's been a whole bunch of years, which is kind of scary all by itself. About when I was about 46, 47, I started thinking about the seniors golf tour and thinking how much fun that would be. I'd forgotten what I didn't like about it early on. But subconsciously I still remembered, but I'd forgotten. So I decided that I was going to do it right. I was going to have to switch my golf game to an old guy's golf swing, because I still had a young guy's golf swing, which will kill a back on the grind of a tour. And so I went and got top tour help, meaning an instructor. Unbelievable. Well, I had a case of the yips. Also, I was having some nerve problems, which is standard for 47, 48-year-old man at that point, and I couldn't quite get it under control. But I was practicing some. I was working on trying to solve the yips is when your nerves just kind of fire, and so it makes putting unbelievably difficult. You have to change everything, and it's killed a lot of good golfing careers. But I figured I could get over it if I worked at it enough, and the people around me thought I could work at it. But it just was getting worse. And I'm down in Phoenix in a golf tournament with 3 other pros, and it's just a disaster, and I am upset. I am so upset, and I don't do well when I'm upset, meaning I'm not a nice person to be around. And one of my friends who's a major golf pro and who could see this, he turned to me at one point. I think it was like on the 10th or 11th tee. We were talking. He says, "You just don't want it enough. You're not willing to pay the price." Well, I was already an international seller in writing. I'd been making my career at this for a long time. And he turned to me and said, "You don't want to do it as a golf pro." He says, "You're not willing to pay the price that it'll take to get to that tour." Oh, man, did that make me mad. Holy smokes. Mostly because I knew he was dead right. And it took a little while for it to finally calm myself down, meaning a couple of months, and calm down and realize that he was spot on the money. I didn't want to pay the price. Threw my clubs in the closet. Took me a year or two, and I came back out, and now I play golf as best I can with one eye. I go out and play for fun. I still play golf once in a while. Not a lot, but once in a while. And I do it for fun. I don't have any desire to be competitive or anything else. I didn't want to pay the price that it was going to take, and I knew what that price was. I'd been there. I'd been real close to it. I'd been out on chasing the tour when I was younger. I knew what that price was. And I had a tour instructor who was telling me what the price was, and I wasn't willing to pay it. I wasn't willing to put in the hours of work. I wasn't willing to put in the cost, the financial cost, everything else. I was not willing to do it. I would do it for my writing, but I wouldn't do it for the tour. That's what this lecture is about. Paying the price. Are you willing to pay the price to become an internationally known, selling fiction writer? That's a large goal. It's a heck of a lot more than playing the stupid seniors tour in America. Becoming an internationally known, selling fiction writer. Paying the price. That's what the lecture's all about. Hang on, I'll try to be positive, but some of this might hurt.